gentlemen, and welcome to episode 124 of the Seezus Show. It's your boy, Sirseezus. I'm here with my co-host, Terrence Whaley. Terrence Whaley, how you feeling, man?
What up? Doing good, man.
How you been, man? I think episode 123 came out like mid-December, I want to say.
Yeah, man. Went home to see the parents. Went to Houston. Enjoyed that. Got to see the homies. It's always good to like take that break, off of being at work and just, enjoy your people and be home. You know what I mean? So I liked it.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, it was a little different for me as well too. I thought I was gonna go to Vegas to see my mom during Christmas, but I ended up staying here. So this is the second year in a row I was actually in LA. Purvis, his girl, went to their dinner. It was pretty interesting. And then I was with them again for New Year's as well too. So I just kind of been chilling, getting my mind right for this new year. So it's a blessing to be alive. It's a blessing to be healthy. It's a blessing to have a strong support system in my life. And I'm just ready to go full throttle for the entirety of the year as well too, man. So just to rehash with you guys from episode 123, Terrence and I discussed a couple different topics. Nike parting ways with Kyrie. Sorry, my guy. 80s dominance, Pelicans emergence, the greatness of Boston, Warriors struggles, decline of CP3, and Brittany Griner becoming a free woman once again. Shout out to, all that happened as well too. So it's crazy just going over these topics. It's just crazy how like so many things just change within the landscape of the NBA. So I'm excited to get into these topics. But before I get into today's hottest topics, we have a new guest that's going to be on the show for today. He's a junior executive at Radar Pictures, one of the homies, one of the first homies I met over here as well, too. So, ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for one of my boys, Carl Conyers.
What's good?
How you doing, man? How you doing?
I'm good.
You good?
Yeah.
All right. Glad to be here, man. It's been quite some time as well. Like, I've been trying to get you on for a while, but I guess everything kind of happens for a reason, man. How's your new year been, man?
So far it's been busy, but also very fruitful. I think I tried to start a lot of stuff kind of earlier, towards the end of last year, so that I could carry it over into the new year versus just like starting at the new year. So it's nice to kind of have that carryover and have stuff kind of already going for myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's crazy. And I forget, how did we meet? Did we meet through? I think the first time I met you, we went to the Rose Bowl, right? It may have been the Rose Bowl. I think it was still like playoff time, like the year that Giannis and no one, I want to say.
That might have. Was that the first time we all hung out?
I think
Might be.
Oh,
yeah.
I can't remember back that far.
Because Terrence drove you, me, and Kel to the Rose Bowl. That was the first time I went to the Rose Bowl, actually. Yeah, okay. That's the first time I met you as well, too.
I remember it being hot as hell that day.
It was bad. It was bad.
It was hot as hell. So, Carl Conyers, ladies and gentlemen, he is a junior executive at Radar Pictures, man. So heavily involved in the music industry, has a strong, great taste for music. I have a couple of his playlists that he sent over to me that are very, very fire, by the way. But tell us about, being a junior executive at Radar Pictures, what you kind of do, and what kind of brought you to that.
So it's actually, I kind of have two roles. There's Radar Pictures, which is a film production company, and then we also have a subsidiary, which is Boosted Records, and that's the record label. So the record label is really like a startup, so I'm kind of all parts of the day-to-day to that. Very heavily involved with our artist Luck, who's really dope. Y'all should check her out, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, it's crazy because I've always had a passion for music my entire life and always just been very interested in film. So to kind of be in a position where I get to do this daily, kind of like this combination of both, and be on the biggest thing is really being on the back end of everything, especially like with film production, getting to see everything that leads up to the film being made and how many different things go into it. And then especially on the music side as well, like, dealing with our distributors and just all the back end stuff that comes with it, usually when I'm just seeing the album and stuff. So no, it's been great and been a blessing because I really moved out to LA for that type of opportunity. So I'm just happy that I was able to get there.
Yeah. And I saw some of the different events that you guys kind of put on, and obviously, like, I was part of a music video as well too. So to kind of be in both of those spaces were pretty interesting as well too. So shout out to Luck, right?
Yeah.
Great artist as well too. So hopefully, everything goes great for her this year as well too. So since we're on the topic of music, man, what artists are you kind of listening to right now? And I guess since it is the new year, nothing's really come out yet. What were your top artists or actually top albums from last year?
Artists that I'm listening to, bro, like everybody. I don't know. I have a very wide and eclectic taste, I feel like. So I guess I can just like some of my favorite albums from last year, or like a top 5. Even though I'm gonna say top 5, I feel like there's a lot of recency bias in this, and there's a lot of music that came out. So just the grain of salt, but. Definitely House is Burning, Isaiah Rashad. That one for sure, I wouldn't have to do any more research. That's going to be in my top 5 regardless. Then also, this girl, Ogie, dropped her, it was an EP, but it was like 7 or some songs, monologues. It was her debut EP. Steve Lacy's Gemini Rights, Smino, Love for Rent, and then...
Love that one.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then Kent Jams had an album called Fan Club that came out that I really rock with. So last year kind of saw me... I feel like, honestly, by being in a better place in my life, my music, not my music taste, but the type of music that I listen to more frequently kind of changed, and it's a lot more up-tempo stuff and livelier. So that's kind of been where I'm at a little bit. But
you were saying you do playlists too?
Yeah.
Where can we go get those?
If you follow me on any of my social medias, which everything luckily is just Carl Conyers.
Yeah, that's a blessing. That's a blessing when your social is all linked like that. It's a blessing.
Man, that's one of the benefits of like being around since the beginning of all this shit. It's like, so everything is just Carl Conyers. I'm pretty sure I have my Apple Music page linked on everything, so you can find it there. And you'll be able to see all the hundreds of playlists that I have.
Yeah,
for sure.
I need you to listen to, I guess, mine as well too. I love actually curating playlists as well too. So they're very conceptual based. I have a good amount. I can't remember how many I have, but it's normally like anywhere between like 8 to 12 tracks. Like I said, narrative based, and it just kind of is a depiction of my state of mind of how I feel in that time. But a lot of them are kind of centered around love or floating around the idea of love as well too. So definitely check those out for sure. You definitely vibe with it. So there's some up-tempo ones, some very, very sad-esque ones as well too. But it's all over the place. So it's mostly R&B, but I kind of get into a little bit of rap, a little bit of electronic. So it's pretty dope.
Got you. Definitely send it my way.
For sure. All right, y'all ready to get into today's hottest topics?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's get it. So obviously KD just got injured, but we'll try not to focus on the injury right now because that's one of the topics, right? So let's focus on the red hot Nets. Right now, the Brooklyn Nets are 27-13. They're 18-2 in their last 20 games. Top 5 defense, top field goal percentage in the entire NBA. They're top 5 in point differential, and they're number 1 in blocks as well too. So it's kind of crazy just to see how, they were the talk of, the NBA with KD wanting to get out, and obviously with Kyrie Irving's situation, Steve Nash having some coaching problems and whatnot, Ben Simmons, all these things kind of just came about. They started off really, really bad, and if you were to tell me they would be like a game and a half behind Boston right now, I'd be like, yo, you're smoking some crack right now. So I really don't understand like how that's happening right now. But what do you guys, and I'm gonna start with Carl, what do you kind of attribute to the Nets being so dominant, I guess the past 20 games of the regular season?
I think for me it's kind of like 2 main things. The first one being firing Steve Nash. I don't think that he was the worst. I think that there are just sometimes situations that just don't work, and I think it was just clear that situation wasn't going to work. The players didn't respect him, and that really honestly is it. At that point, like, we're not going to listen to anything you have to say, and it's just easy to have so much more dysfunction with the team. And then also, I think one of the bigger things is honestly, like, right now I feel like KD and Kyrie are playing like how Bron and AD played when they won the ship. Like, they're really just, all right, we have 2 guys who are going crazy, especially KD. He's giving you like 27 on like 55% or something like that. Like, it's really nuts. So you can have him doing that, and you have Kyrie doing what he does, and then you actually just have decent role players all around them. They have shooters around them. Ben Simmons is back to at least playing really, really good defense. Yuta Watanabe is shooting like the league leader in 3-point percentage. You still got Seth Curry. You got Joe Harris. Claxton is averaging like 2 blocks. They added TJ Warren, who's now getting buckets again. I think it's just they're a deep team. They're a good team. It was hard to earlier in the season, you're dealing with the coach stuff and the Kyrie stuff. So I feel like it's hard to really have any type of chemistry. And then also Ben Simmons. I feel like people weren't trying to give him any time. Like he did just miss a whole year. He did have back issues. Exactly. Like it was gonna take him a minute, and he's playing in a whole different system. So I think things are just kind of starting to come together, and it really sucks that KD got injured out.
What about you, T?
I mean, it's always hard for me to give the Nets they praise because I'm a hater. I'm gonna give you that right now. I'm a hater. But I'll say, to kind of piggyback off what Carl said, it's like it starts with the head of the snake. You know what I mean? Kevin Durant is really showing is playing blissful basketball. I think that they're playing with no stress, no bullshit. Like they just kind of in there just hooping, which is what he likes to do in the first place. And then, Kyrie being a great, probably the best second option in the league right now,
Definitely.
just hooping. And now, I think it probably wasn't necessarily a cancer in the locker room because I don't want to say that because I wasn't there to see it. But I think that Steve Nash respect thing goes a long way to playing the type of basketball that you need to play to win and string all those wins together in the NBA. So I think getting him out of there gave them a fresh, breath of fresh air. And now they just, the defense is what's is what's shown me that they're serious and they're trying to win games.
Mm-hmm.
Claxton, he looks really, really good. I didn't know if he was really gonna make it in the NBA when he first came, but I thought, if he could just kind of solidify what his role is and be a star in his role, a lot like what Ben Simmons is doing, I think that they could be okay. And I'll say this, Ben, you might not want to look to shoot or whatever, fine, whatever, but he is also being a star in his role, so I'll give him those props.
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree with both of you guys. Starts with the head of the snake as well too. To hire Steve Nash, obviously, it depends how you view him, but he's one of the best point guards that kind of do it as well too. But to have no prior coaching experience to kind of just get thrown into the fire, I don't think that was right, especially going to a ready-made team with superstar talent and veterans. That was just doing him a disservice as well too. So it's night and day just seeing the difference in coaching, them actually running plays, them actually having sets for KD and Kyrie as well too. So I really enjoy that. And like you said, Ben Simmons, back injury, didn't play for a year. Took him a while to get adjusted to it. And what's good about it is I don't really view Kyrie as, I mean, he's a combo guard, but he's more so of a shooting guard to me.
Mm-hmm.
When I think of combo point-esque guards, I think of, the Currys of the world, Dame of the world, James Harden of the world, Lucas of the world, and whatnot as well too. So to have Ben Simmons come in there and actually play point guard and just allow KD and Kyrie to just get their buckets, I think that's great. And then, like you said, with the addition of TJ Warren, which a lot of people don't really talk about,
and then he was gone for 2 years.
2 years,
Yeah,
dog. That Achilles is crazy. He looking like Bubble TJ a little bit right now. But to see him come back, you have Royce O'Neal there, Joe Harris, and you, like I said, is Seth Curry shooting lights out? That's a very, very potent team. And like what Terrence said, their defense. You starting off the game with 3 7-footers. You're gonna get a lot of contested shots, a lot of easy buckets in transition, which they're having right now, and they're very efficient. Mix that with the 2 most efficient scorers right now in the NBA. I mean, it can only go up from there as well too. So I think, it's gonna be tough to see what happens within the next month or so. But right now it's looking like they're probably gonna finish at least the top 2-3 seed in the Eastern Conference. And
I still like Cleveland better though.
Really?
We'll save that for another day. So kind of staying on the Brooklyn Nets. KD just suffered another injury yet again as well too. Sorry about that. So Brooklyn Nets star forward KD is expected to be sidelined for approximately a month. The Nets announced this yesterday, and KD was diagnosed with an isolated MCL sprain of his right knee and will be reevaluated within the next 2 weeks. So to give you guys context, Durant missed 6 weeks back when he was in Golden State. I think it was that same exact year he actually ended up messing up his calf and then tearing his Achilles. But he sprained his left MCL beginning in January, which is kind of crazy. And this one seems like it's less severe, so he should be back in no time as well too. So like I said, it's going to be a month. It just sucks how he kind of, when he first heard it in Golden State, it was a freak accident. Someone kind of lunged into his knee, and then Jimmy Butler's doing that nut shit again, lunging into his knee as well too. So how do you think Brooklyn's going to fare with KD, being out for the foreseeable future?
I think it's going to be It'll be interesting to see if all these other guys can step up. I think regardless of the severity, I don't think he's going to be out as long as he was in Golden State because that was the ultimate luxury situation. Like when anybody got injured, they was like, "Bro, take as much time as you need. We still gonna win." Like, so this will be Kyrie's opportunity, I think, to actually try and step up and prove a lot of people wrong in that like he can actually be a leader. We'll see if he does that. I don't know.
We already know what that means. I think it's gonna be a 500 team. I think they'll be 500 while he's out.
Yeah, I think that too. I mean, looking at it right now, he got injured the 8th, so maybe he's projected to come back the 7th. They kind of got a tough schedule, and a lot of these games are going to be on national television. So they got Boston on Thursday.
Yikes.
OKC, granted, they don't have necessarily the best record, but they compete, from start to finish. Then you got Phoenix, you got Utah, you got Golden State, you got Philly, you got New York, you got LA. 80 should be back by then. Probably lost his bet. You got Boston, Washington, LA, Phoenix again, and then Chicago, who they just lost to. So that's going to be a tough stretch as well, too. He's definitely going to be missed, but I agree with you. All eyes on Kyrie. He gets a lot of shade for, not always being there as well, too. But I haven't really seen him take over and be that legit leader in the locker room, but more important, that number one option as well, too. Obviously, he had LeBron in Cleveland when he returned, and then he had a little stint in Boston, but he broke his knee. So, after that, Boston and them young boys, they went to the Eastern Conference Finals. He comes back, tries to be the number one, really doesn't work out. And then he goes back to the Nets, and they're not really playing winning basketball. They're still waiting for KD to kind of rehab and whatnot as well, too. And then he basically said, I'm not going to the bubble. So I've never really seen him thrive as a number one option. But, I mean, those were past times, and I feel like he's an even greater basketball player than he is now. So it's going to be interesting to see how he transitions into that number one option. But everyone's going to just have to step up. So I'm looking for Ben Simmons to step the hell up. The same little 5 games when Kyrie was out, when he was averaging like 15, 18 points, I need to see that. I need to see you to be aggressive. Is he going to be aggressive? I don't necessarily know. There's going to be a lot of nights where Kyrie's that number one option, and he's getting double, triple teamed as well, too. So he's going to be looking for everyone to make plays. So I'm excited to see what he's going to do. I don't think he's going to be as efficient, but just looking at these games, I think it's about 12 games that KD's going to miss. You said they're going to be under 500 or at 500? Like, let's say they play 12 games. How many games out of those 12 games do you think they're going to win?
I'd say maybe like 5 of them. I mean, Kyrie's like he been in the league 12 years?
Yeah,
11 years?
Yeah. He's 30-something now.
He's shown what he can do on the basketball court. He'll put the ball in the hole, but he's not gonna lead you to no game.
Yeah, I say 5 and 7, or if they're lucky, 6 and 6. But you can't just replace 30, 35 points like that.
7-footer.
Yeah.
That's the unfortunate thing about, like, what I was saying earlier. I feel like they were built like that 80 Bron team. If either of them got injured, it was a wrap. And we kind of saw that, and we've seen that every year since then. And so, yeah, it'll be interesting.
Yeah. So Kyrie will averaging like 18 shot attempts. He probably gonna get that up to like 25.
Yeah,
but
sure.
I think TJ Warren is gonna try to take on that role and be that scorer that we kind of saw him be in the bubble and whatnot as well too. So we'll see. But I'm very curious to see what Ben Simmons does. That's gonna be interesting. So I think their defense is gonna take a step back, but I think their offense will be slightly above average. But everything kind of hinges on those two that I named kind of stepping it up as well too. So we're gonna see what happens from there. So the Allstar votes came back not too long ago as well too. So to give you guys context, votes came back, and obviously LeBron James and KD headlined their respective conferences and whatnot as well too. So from the Western Conference, LeBron led the way with 3.1 million votes. Joker was number 2 at 2.2. Anthony Davis 3 at 2 million. Zion at 1.9. Wiggins at 1.1. And then for the guards, obviously the babyface assassin, Steph Curry with 2.7. Luka 2.3. Ja a little under Millie. Shy a little under Millie, and then Clay at 500K. In the Eastern Conference front court, KD 3.1 million. Giannis 2.9 million. Joel Embiid 2.2. Tatum 2.1. Jimmy 400. A little over 400,000 in the guards. Kyrie led the way with 2 million votes. Donovan Mitchell 1.6. James Harden 1.1. Jaylen Brown 1.0, and Trae Young a little under 800,000 votes as well too. I mean, kind of looking at the potential starters right now, like I'm not surprised right now. I mean, you got LeBron, who's the face of the franchise and is expected for him to, be number one as well too. With Joker, I'm not surprised. Back-to-back MVP. They're number one in the Western Conference right now. They're playing great basketball. And with AD,
playing nuts.
Yeah, and AD, was playing like a dog until he got hurt as well too. And then Steph, I mean, the Bay Area market itself will get you those many votes. I mean, look at Klay Thompson right there, and look at Andrew Wiggins. Like, how do they get? I can see Klay Thompson's rise in votes, but how does a guy like Draymond Green and a guy like Andrew Wiggins be top 8 in the front court as well too?
It's fan voting, man.
It's a fan voting, and that's why I'm happy they kind of took away 100% autonomy with the fans and had the media and players split that up as well too.
Mm-hmm.
But what are your thoughts on the initial first fan returns for the Eastern and Western Conference? I guess I'll go to you this time, Terrence. How you feel? Yeah.
I think it's pretty normal when I see these numbers, people at the top. I guess I'm surprised that Giannis didn't have more votes than. Well, I guess it's irrelevant, but like, I guess I'm surprised to see Kevin at the top again, year after year, or the past 2 years. I expected Giannis to like kind of, as far as popularity, kind of be up on top.
International standpoint, because
exactly,
he's from Greece.
Exactly, yeah. But I mean, as far as the names, they're all well deserved. I'm glad to see Kyle Kuzma on there too, because he's been hooping for Washington. But Nick Claxton, whoa.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah, nah. But I mean, there's always some surprise votings. Andrew Wiggins for the second year in a row. Not really sure what his numbers are from this year.
Yeah, like 17, 18, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, but yeah, I expect the starters to be, LeBron, Jokic, Steph, and then, from the West, and then the same thing from the East. Like, those players are well deserved.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see anybody on the list that I think got snubbed, especially what's his name from Phoenix?
D-Book.
Yeah, is he on here? I don't see him.
I think he was top
Because-
8. He's 8th in the
Number 8?
guards. Yeah.
God
Oh,
damn.
okay.
All the way down there.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting. But other than that, I guess he's been out though from injury.
What about you?
I like these lists overall. I think my big thing is, like, I have 2 guys from each conference, Shai and Tyrese Halliburton, that I think need to make these All-Star teams.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
And fucking what's his name? LaMelo Ball. Like, there's certain players that when I watch an All-Star game,
Mhm.
I want to see them like in the starting lineup. And I would have liked to see LaMelo too, but go ahead, my bad.
LaMelo hasn't played, though. That's the only thing.
Yeah, true.
He missed a lot of the season.
But as far as like his flashiness,
Yeah, that's
He's
what I
definitely
want
an
to see.
all-star type player,
I want to
yeah.
see that type of player in the All-Star game.
Yeah, but I think Tyrese Halliburton, like, the Pacers are supposed to be in a rebuild, and they're good enough. Like, I think they're like a little bit over 500 or right around there. Definitely in place right now to make the play-in or make the playoffs, and he's averaging like 18 and 10. I'm pretty sure he's leading the league in assists, averaging like a Chris Paul number of turnovers, shooting really well. And then Shai is just going nuts. Shai is literally I can't even. I'm like, honestly, I'm actually in a fantasy league with C's over here, and but I'm in 2 leagues, and in both of them, like, I was like, I'm not about to draft Shai. Like, they're not gonna play him because they're gonna try and tank. He might average like 20 or whatever. I am sick about that. But I just hope that he's not penalized for like his team not being amazing when he's clearly the only reason that they're even where they're at right now.
No, I agree. I mean, I feel like and the whole MVP is a completely different discussion for like All-Star voting. I feel like All-Stars should only be individual accolades. Like, it shouldn't be predicated on your team as well too. You know what I'm saying? So I like everything that I kind of see as well too. I mean, but the elephant in the room is obviously Jason Tatum came out, got interviewed a couple of days ago, and he was kind of a little butthurt that he's not top 3 for the front court. If he does make it and he's a starter, well, first and foremost, KD's injured 2nd year in a row, so he might just make it again by default. But let's say KD is back in time for the All-Star game. I guess if you're trying to choose between him and Joel Embiid, because that's what it's kind of looking at right now, I guess that's the most shocking. I thought Tatum, with the year he had last year, with how great Boston's playing now and how he's basically upped his game, I thought he would have more votes, but it's kind of in reverse of how you said with Giannis from the international standpoint. So I think that's why Embiid kind of got that. But if you had to choose who gets that final spot for the front court between Embiid and Tatum, who you going with?
I'm going Embiid for sure.
Ooh.
Tatum is good. Tatum is really, really good, but like, I think there's a difference in just being a big man dominating. Like, I know we have Jokic and we have AD, but like, it's not. You don't see centers averaging 30, and like he's now doing it for the second year in a row. The same way, like, the Shy is his team, he is his team, especially because James Harden was just out like a month and a half. Tyrese Maxey was just out like a month and a half. He was dropping like 50-point games back to back. I just think like, yeah, Joel Embiid. Also, just in terms of like All-Star stuff, I feel like he is someone that people want to see as a starter too. Like Tatum has a good game, but I think Joel Embiid is just a little more fun too.
You?
I agree. I always look at the All-Star game from like just who I want to see from a like spectacular like spectacle.
Put on a show.
Like, put on a show, exactly.
You don't see 7-footers crossing people up like that.
And like Tatum's game is cute and all, but it's just like
not cute.
I'd rather see it in a 5-on-5 situation rather than an All-Star game.
Interesting as well too. I mean, they also changed the format a little bit, so we're gonna get to see a lot of glossiness, and then the last quarter.
Yeah.
When they have to play for any charity they want to donate their money to, that's when they actually play serious. So
yeah,
he's gonna definitely be in the closing. So we're gonna see what's good with that as well too. Moving on from that, man, LeBron James turned 38 a week and a half, 2 weeks ago as well too, and it's crazy at 38. He's averaging 38, 9 rebounds, 8 assists, 58% from the field as well too. What do you guys attribute to him being 38 years old and still dominating and being the face of the league? Like, I don't understand. I'm kind of at loss for words, but what do you guys think?
Am I going first?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm the LeBron fan in the building. Okay. Well, I attribute it to like he's chasing ghosts at this point. Like just, Kareem, Michael Jordan, like just trying to push the limits of the human body. I think to me, in my opinion, he's the greatest athlete in sports. So when I watch him play, like I just think, set aside all the front office things about like not getting the trade that he wants or like the players on the court that he wants. Like I just think he's motivated to get the Lakers to the playoffs with what they got.
Yeah.
And then also, I don't think the scoring title, like I listen to what he says, like when he talks about the scoring title. I don't think it matters to him. I think it'll just be another one of the things that'll be on his list of things he did, which will be at the top of the list, I think, to me, because individually, like that's the best thing you can do, I think, on the basketball court is score the ball. But I think as 38, like he wants to be known as this guy that just never declines, and I think that he thinks about that every time he steps on the basketball court to, train his body in the right way to continue to go, even no matter when he's ready to stop playing.
What about you?
I'm gonna say it's crazy, bro. Like, I'll be honest. Even like last year when he averaged 30, like I was like, oh wow, that's really, really nuts. And it wasn't even. I know people saying like he was stat padding, but like to even have as many wins as they did, like he needed to do that. So yeah, I think it's just really nuts that we're in an age where Tom Brady is like 50 and still playing. LeBron is about to be 40 and still averaging like 30. I think the human body, like we're in a place where like if you do the right things and you take care of your body, of course you have to have some natural gifts as well.
Yeah.
But I think like we're just seeing how far we can really push it, and it's really crazy.
I agree with you as well too. How long do you think he can, kind of keep doing this? And obviously, him getting into like an injury like a Kobe could be a thing as well too. Knock on wood, hopefully that doesn't happen. But do you see a scenario where injuries take him out, or he is actually able to ride off into the sunset on his own terms, play with his son? Like, how do you see that ending?
I just want to say something real quick about the Kobe thing. People don't talk about that enough. I'm not trying to take anything away from Bron, but Kobe would have been doing all this same stuff at the same age if he hadn't ruptured his Achilles. Because he was carrying him to the playoffs, averaging 29, 30 a game that year. But he was averaging like 38 minutes a game because his team sucked. Yeah. And then after he ruptured his Achilles, it was all bad.
Yeah, if he didn't rupture his Achilles, if he didn't have that shoulder problem, if he didn't crack his knee, he'd probably be number one right now in all-time scoring, to be real with you.
And that's to me the thing of like, I can say Bron could do this for if all goes right. I think he could still be playing in like 5 years. But then it's also just like that. Like, you just never know.
Yeah.
And I don't wish any ill will on him or anything like that. But we have just kind of, and luckily they've all been like small injuries, but we just seen injuries start to pile up a little bit more for him than we're used to.
Ever since that grown one on Christmas Day, I still remember that joint like it was yesterday. They was cooking the Warriors too, boy. I'm like, okay, Lonzo and Ingram. Damn, what are your thoughts? You think he's gonna play for as long as he wants, or?
Yeah, I think it'll be the until Bronny gets into the league.
Yeah, I see that as well too. Yeah, I mean, I just hope he stays healthy, and we'll kind of see what happens with that as well too. But I kind of I'm all about everybody getting their bag as well too. But like you said, we never expected someone to be 38 years old and be this dominant. And if you're this dominant, you're going to make the max dollars. But because you're making these max dollars and have another max player on your team as well, too, there's really not that much flexibility to be good. Sometimes I wish you can do what Dirk did and do what Tim Duncan did, or even like the Tom Brady model, where you just take slightly less. Even what James Harden did. He didn't get the $45 million.
Not LeBron.
But he still got like $38 million and was able to add in the PJ Tucker and some X amount of
Dirk
players
is
as well,
playing
too.
better than, not Dirk. LeBron is playing better than both of them at that point.
That is true as well, too.
Like they both deserve more money because of like who they were and what they did for their teams. But I think like Bron is still averaging 30. You know, like they weren't close to that at that point.
Yeah, that's very, very true. They were on the decline as well. But I'm just saying, like, you kind of reap what you sow. You know what I'm saying? You're playing GM, and I mean, it's a blessing that you're averaging that much. But you can't be coming around this time every year and asking for a trade. Just like you kind of have a control of that as well too. Now, speaking on that, I just pulled up this one tracker for LeBron James. It's Chasing History. So all of us know that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is an all-time NBA points leader, 38,387 points, and LeBron James just needs 422 points to go. When LeBron James surpasses Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for the all-time scoring leader in the NBA, what happens next? What do you guys think? I'm gonna go with you.
I mean,
GOAT?
It depends. I mean, for a lot of people, I'm sure. I think he's really just gonna be in that Wilt status of like just records that are just really crazy. You know, like you're just gonna feel like, oh, like that's not even really attainable or reachable. Like he's just gonna be. He already is, but I think like it's really gonna make him even more mythic of like a basketball player. You know.
Mm-hmm. What about you?
I'm gonna go last.
Oh, okay. Man, that's tough. I mean, I grew up watching Jordan a little bit, but I mean, I was born 94. He was done 98 and came back for the Wizards as well too. So I can only go off of obviously watching old tapes, and then watching documentaries and whatnot as well too. But I literally grew up with this guy LeBron James since I was in the 3rd grade. And to see him dominate for this long and surpass odds and what he's supposed to do is kind of crazy as well too. So when he passes that, that's going to be a huge accomplishment for me. But kind of like what Dirk said, you really run out of arguments on, why he can't be considered the GOAT as well too. So we're in a different time, and the old heads are slowly dying off. So I can see that transition where they say that he's the GOAT, and it's gonna be crazy as well too. Because I was asking Terrence the other night when we were watching the championship college football game, I was like, "Is all time with regular season and postseason?" Because if that's the case, I think you're right. All-time NBA points. That's crazy.
He already has the all-time, including postseason and regular season.
So is this just regular season?
Just regular season.
That's ridiculous.
Oh, okay.
So if it's just regular season, I mean, for someone to break that, they would not only have to average 27-30, but they'd have to come in if they change the rules at 18 years old and dominate like this for 20 years and be available. And nowadays, players don't even play 70 games anymore. So this is just a crazy achievement once he kind of gets that as well, too. What are your thoughts, James?
Yeah, I already think he the GOAT. You know what I'm saying? Like, I already think he the GOAT. I think what it'll do, though, is it'll just show people that always said that, Michael and Kobe were, like, better scorers. Like, I just think that it'll just make it, hard to say with, like, sometimes I'll be looking at people when they say that, and I'll be like, is it because they looked like it was easier when they was shooting it and it was scoring? Like, because Kobe and Mike, they did the little fadeaway jumpers, and it was all cute and stuff. But, like, is that cooler than what LeBron be doing? Is that the reason why people say they're better scorers than him?
I mean, yeah, they're more. I mean, obviously, like, a lot of his scoring prowess is kind of predicated on his athleticism, but with Kobe and MJ, they were just more efficient. They just had different ways of how they scored the basketball.
They were more
They
efficient
had better
field goal
footwork.
wise.
MJ was
Well,
about,
LeBron's
Kobe
gonna-
definitely wasn't.
LeBron-
Kobe definitely wasn't as efficient.
Yeah, LeBron's going to be more efficient because a lot of his points are attacking at the basket.
So
as
you
well,
mean
too.
like the ways to score, like
KD? I consider KD from my own two eyes watching. He's not only efficient, but the way in which he scores, one, is effortless, but he can literally score at all three levels at an efficient clip. And his footwork is close to none as far as top tier as well too. So I can see why people would kind of put Kobe and MJ there just because their arsenal and how they score as well.
so when LeBron scores, it just doesn't look as natural.
I mean, it's not as pretty.
Because I be trying to get down to it why people don't say he not like
Well,
nice when he scores.
Also, he's trying to trick us as well too when he said, "What guy averaged 27, 30?" You'd be like, "I'm not even a scorer." Yeah, you are. I mean, you think pass first, but you still putting up 30 a night.
Right. I be just trying to get down to the crevice of like why people don't think he's like better than at scoring the ball than Kobe, Michael, and Kevin Durant. When he be scoring at better clips than they do.
I don't know, man. The way I look at
That's
it,
all I'm saying though. That's all the scoring record does for me. It's just like when people bring those conversations up, I'll be like, but he on the board, he number one. So
I
that's
mean,
all it does for me.
Kareem number one right now. Is this shit cute?
No, and I think Kareem is nice.
Mm-hmm.
That I think that his statement, that argument should have already been made, because to me, him getting the scoring title doesn't really change that.
For
only
me,
because
it
it's-
doesn't.
Yeah,
It's just for people that I'm arguing with.
that's real.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, that just kind of signifies his longevity and his health at the same time. But if it's the fourth quarter and there's 5-6 minutes left and it's the end all be all, I'd rather have Kobe and MJ have the motherfucking basketball.
And you know whose fault that is that you think that way? It's Nike. Because Nike ran all them commercials on Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant hitting all them damn jumpers and all that shit. And they didn't run it when LeBron got them. Because LeBron got a compilation video of fucking
He
jumpers.
definitely has some.
Yeah,
For
LeBron
sure.
LeBron got a little bit as well too, but I'm going with someone who is just
But I think
more skilled at it.
I would say it's interesting because the stakes have never been as high for Dame as they are for LeBron. But I would say like Dame is a more clutch player. Like I remember for me the last important shot that Bron hit was that buzzer beater against Chicago.
Indiana?
Against Chicago.
You don't remember the year when Kyrie left? Kyrie was on Boston, and LeBron basically played, I think, all 82 games. Still didn't win the MVP. First round, they went up against Victor Oladipo when he was still hot. And second round, they went up against Toronto, swept them. And then the last round was against the Boston Celtics. He hit a game winner in round one, and he hit a game winner in round two when he swept them off that layup. I still remember that joint.
Okay, let me ask you this then. What bigger shot does Kevin Durant have when LeBron hit that shot in the finals against the Spurs over Kawhi Leonard with 27 seconds left to go?
What bigger shot KD got?
Yeah.
I guess the two when he was on Golden State.
And he raised up over LeBron
Yeah,
when they were already up 3-1 or something like that.
I mean, that was a defining game because if Kyle
I
Korver
wouldn't
doesn't
say
miss
KD
that.
is that clutch either. That's why I wouldn't say KD is more clutch.
You got to give
It's
LeBron
just,
more
it's
praise,
just crazy
bro.
because you only really have clutch moments, every you're not gonna be as, I don't know how to really it's in my mind, but I can't really verbalize this for you guys as well too. But I don't know, it really just depends on how things kind of go.
I will say this about the scoring thing. I think in the clutch is kind of when that comes back about the ways that you're able to score, because it in the end all be all, it's like I don't think that Bron is as proficient in every way at scoring, but the one way that he for sure knows how to score, nobody's better than him at that. But I do think when it comes to certain clutch situations, that's where it comes out, because I don't trust that and of course I know he's definitely hit shots,
Yeah.
but like it just feels different. Like I don't trust his jumper to fall in those situations.
That's fine. That's fair.
I like that. Man, any closing remarks with that?
But he gets to the rim in those situations.
Mm-hmm. I mean, all I know is that I've seen that nigga hit jumpers, game winners.
Yeah.
I've seen it, so that's all.
Interesting. All right.
I done seen him miss a lot too, though.
That's true. Hey, all of them have. All of them.
Yeah, I still rather go with the other two that we mentioned and take the last shot.
I go with Dame, bro. He be gaming people.
Yeah, Dame is cold. All right, well, staying on the Lakers right now, Lakers State of Mind, they're 19-21. They're on a 5-game winning streak. They're currently 11th in the West, 7.5 games behind first place. Top 5 in points per game. They have 7 players averaging double-digit in points. Thomas Bryant has been playing well in his 13 games when AD's been gone, averaging 17 points, 10 rebounds, 68% from the field, 55% from three, and as a big man, shooting 71% from the line as well, too. What are your thoughts on the Lakers right now, especially with AD on his way back, man?
Oh, me?
You
Oh,
Lakers.
hey, shout out my boy Thomas Bryant. Shout out my favorite white boy Austin Reeves. Yo, he cold. Honestly, man, like, listen, it's hard out here right now for the Lakers. But listen, honestly, they're starting to play a brand of basketball that they're finding their identity, and it's really good. I always feel good about teams that find their identity before the All-Star break. So like I think they can very easily get the right players back, get their starting 5 back together, and jump into the 5th seed. Where I think the closing gap in games behind, they're like 2 or 3 games behind as far as like where the 5th seed is and like where the 11th seed is. So I just think that they just need to get healthy, go to All-Star weekend, cheer for LeBron because that's the only nigga they got on the court out there representing the Lakers, and just return healthy, do what Darvin Ham says on defense, and Russ needs to stop taking bad 3-point shots in transition and turning it over, and I think that they'll be a 6 seed.
Damn.
Yeah.
When it's all said and done, so they're gonna avoid playing.
That's if AD plays at least 55 games, 60. No, 55 to 58 games. He's got to play that, and I think that'll be good.
What about you, Carl?
I will say about the health thing, I think that's something that nobody really talks about because they don't have a great roster. So when you already don't have a great roster, and then a lot of your people were, but even before AD, like at the beginning of the season, Schroeder was out, Thomas Bryant was out. Like they had a Nunn was out. They had a lot of players who were out who are now actually starting to contribute and starting to play well. And the Thomas Bryant thing, he's honestly similar to like TJ Warren, because people don't remember he was in his last year in Washington. He averaged, it was only like 11 points, but he was doing it on 60% from field and 40% from 3. And then he tore his Achilles. And then like since then it's just been, a bunch of different things. But it's dope for me just seeing him kind of continue on the trajectory that it looked like he was going to be on. And then it definitely helps to play with 2 amazing passers in Bron and Westbrook. So I think that the Lakers definitely can, I think they could potentially get to that 6th seed. But even if they were to say like the 7th seed, I think they're not worried about the play-in as long as they're healthy.
Yeah, especially when you have Bron and AD, if they're healthy as well too. So obviously Darvin Ham had AD playing at the 5 to start off the season as well too, and with the emergence of Thomas Bryant, that definitely you go back to the drawing boards and kind of figure out what you want to do as far as starting and then the ending.
Thomas Bryant
games.
better not play.
I was going to ask you
a lot
guys.
skinnier than AD. AD better go back to the center, bro.
I was going to ask you guys. Do you think AD should play the 4 and Thomas? I want both of them to be on the floor at the same time, especially defensively as well too. But do you see a scenario, or do you think they should have AD go back to the 4 and Thomas Bryant at the 5, and then AD just end the game at the 5? Like, how would you start? With AD coming back, how do you envision the starting 5?
I'd like AD to start to remain at the 5 because I want Austin Reeves on the floor with Lonnie Walker. Which then puts LeBron at the 4, and then whoever they want to put at the 3. It's always like a revolving door for whoever's playing better. But I don't want like Russ, I don't know, but I'd rather Austin Reeves and Lonnie Walker be on the floor together because they're better spot up shooters and attackers.
Yeah.
And then LeBron and AD. I think AD at the 5 is just our most optimal lineup.
Yeah.
The 2 bigs is cool, but like I think when other teams have their finishing lineup, unless we're playing the Nuggets with Jokic, like I really like the matchups that AD gets at the 5 night in, night out.
You think the same too?
Yeah, that's AD better not play the 4 when he comes back. Because at the end of the day, Thomas Bryant has been playing great, but like they don't have anybody bigger than AD. And so it just wouldn't make sense to, like, for instance, say you're playing Jokic. For him to be matched up on Aaron Gordon and then Thomas Bryant have to guard Jokic. Like, that just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, he got fried the other night or last night.
Yeah.
Guarding him. So
I mean, who can guard Joker anyways?
AD?
Yeah.
I mean, he's still going
to
to
give
take
the best. Yeah, he makes it harder for him.
Yeah,
He makes it more
exactly.
difficult for him. I agree with you.
That's also something people don't be giving him enough credit because Jokic is great in the regular season and in the playoffs.
Oh yeah, dog. That's another topic we're gonna talk about as well too, a little bit. So with the Lakers' current, roster construction, obviously trade deadlines, I believe, towards like a week before the Allstar break, around Allstar break. And like you said, they have some pieces that were, rehabbing, getting back into the rotation. Dennis Schroeder, who's been playing out of his mind. Thomas Bryant, who's been playing out of his mind. Russ, who's accepted his 6-man role, and LeBron just found the fountain of youth on some Hercules shit. But do you make any trades, or do you stand down with the team that you have now? If you do make trades, what trades do you kind of have? I'm gonna go with you first.
I think it's tough because I don't know who you're trying to trade. I think at this point, like, they could possibly get some rotation pieces. But to be real, if AD comes back and plays the way that he was playing, and LeBron continues to play the way he's playing, Westbrook still makes mistakes, but he's been good I think he's been a lot better off the bench than people expected. Definitely playing better this year than last year. Yeah. And you have a lot of other players just in their roles, good defense, 3-point shooting. I really don't think I'll say this. I don't think a trade is going to make their ceiling a lot larger. I think that they're kind of where they are just in terms of who they could really realistically get right now. So, honestly, I would probably stand pat, but
I mean, with my general manager hat on, like, you can't trade them picks. Because you just don't know what LeBron gonna do. Like you gotta stay with the picks. You can't trade those, and those are the only things that's really going to make your ceiling like marginally better. Because the Pistons not giving up Bogdanovich without a pick, and they're not giving up Miles Turner, even though he just turned down they stalled the free agency or the extension talks today. And I'm just like, honestly, you got players in house. The one thing I hate as a Laker fan is like, they want to trade players that they got good in house already. Like, I don't like seeing Alex Caruso gone, Kyle Kuzma gone. Like, I want to see in house players like stay there. Austin Reeves, Thomas Bryant, like keep them, develop them. Like, you never know like what they can do until you ride with them. So I want them to stay with the roster they got. And, let next year be next year with free agency. And I think, with this team, it's good enough. You're only 2-3 games behind actual playoff contention. So just stand pat, play defense, get AD back healthy, and then see what's up.
Yeah, I mean, I literally was about to, steal what you kind of just said as well, too. I mean, the fact that they're only, 7.5, 8.5 games behind for the number 1 seed, and it's been kind of up and down, especially with Devin Booker out, Cat out, Portland's kind of imbalanced.
The Clippers.
We're going to get on that as well, too. I mean, the fact that you're only a couple games away and the Lakers have had major injuries and they're working 2 rotation pieces in, I probably wouldn't trade I wouldn't make any trades as well, too, especially like you said, if you're putting the GM hat on, you don't want to give up those future, draft picks.
Yeah, and the GMs, they want to rob the Lakers. They want to be like, oh, you want to be good? All right, cool. Give us your future.
So, yeah.
But it's also because they've come off as desperate, so everybody knows that they can rob them, too.
Yep.
No, that's facts. So, yeah, I stand down. Obviously, I flirted with the idea of potentially trading Russ for DeMar DeRozan and Vucevic, since they have expiring contracts, which would be kind of lit.
Do you think they would do that?
I don't know. The Bulls been kind of foolish since the D Rose era, so I don't really know. That's my dream. That's my dream trade, but it makes sense to kind of, with the West being so up in the air this year, it just makes sense to keep them, and then Russ, $47 million going off the books. You can bring in, some solid players to mesh with what Darvingham wants to do with those two superstars. So
I think if they do anything, it'll be with Pat Bev and Kendrick Nunn.
Pat Bev can go. I was about to say that. Pat Bev can go. I'm not even a Lakers fan, and he's not it, bro.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we gonna see though.
Yeah, Pat Bev can go, and what was the guy you said?
Kendrick Nunn.
Yeah, they can definitely rock for sure. What's going on with the Clippers, man? I mean, they 6th in the West.
That's your team.
They 21 and 21. 6-game losing streak. I was making jokes yesterday. Peg leg Leonard, Kawhi Leonard, has only played 18 out of 34 games, and PG's played 30 out of 42 games. What do you guys attribute to, their season right now? And, if you're looking over the horizons, what do you do? Do you keep them intact? Do you blow them up? What are your thoughts?
Real quick, is that like 34 games that he's been available for?
So there's been 34 games. I think I kind of got that wrong a little bit as well, too. I think he's only played 18
out of the 42.
Got
you.
Yeah, nasty work. Nasty work. Just PTO. Mr. PTO. That should be the new PTO. They be talking about street clothes. Anthony Davis, Kawhi be in street clothes, boy.
Man.
But yeah.
Blow it up.
But what are your thoughts on everything?
Blow it up.
Blow it up?
Yep.
It just kind of sucks because, like, you have to gain some form of chemistry as well, too, with Paul George and Kawhi. And it sucks because, like, the fact that they're kind of in and out the lineup, it just sucks because, like, you're supposed to have a defined role, and it seems like they don't really know what their role is when two of them are on the floor, so their chemistry is kind of a little janky and whatnot as well, too.
It's the whole squad, too, because, like, they actually have a deep team.
They have,
like, they
on paper, they have the...
Yeah.
On paper, they have the best team to me.
They spent last year like getting a bunch of nice role players and a bunch of nice pieces. But when you have guys in and out of the starting lineup, which means all your role players are in and out of the starting lineup, and like this night I get 15 shots, but the next night I'm gonna get like 5. This is a lot. I think it's hard for everybody to try and get any type of rhythm. And yeah, Kawhi does not play basketball anymore.
He only plays when it matters the most. And the thing is, when he gets to the playoffs, he gonna go stupid. But as a fan, this shit just kind of sucks to see. Like, he's never gonna play back-to-backs anymore. And if he's not 100% mentally, he ain't gonna play.
I told him, I was like, I wouldn't let Paul George or Kawhi Leonard step in the new arena in Inglewood. I would.
But if you don't, then that's gonna be a flop.
What you mean?
Their ticket, they ain't gonna sell no tickets if they're starting from scratch into that new stadium. They ain't selling no tickets in Inglewood.
Yeah, so what?
You cool with that when it just opens?
Yeah. They gonna get around to it.
Bro, what?
You can get first round draft picks for Kawhi Leonard, I'm sure, probably.
But how often are those
really?
draft picks gonna pan out?
I'd be interested to see what would happen if they tried to trade Kawhi right now, because I don't think the market is gonna be super hot for a guy who doesn't play games. He's just like Kyrie. Of course, it's completely different reasonings, but like I think you get these situations where you have a star player, they're clearly good, but there's just so many other things surrounding them that it's like, is it really worth me giving up assets for?
Mm-hmm. I mean, right now, if the trade were to happen, I would probably just trade him for James Harden.
That would be terrible.
In the playoffs?
For the
playoffs? I think Kawhi and Maxey and
why are you
Joel
confident that
Embiid.
he's going to play in the playoffs?
I mean, he's always played in the playoffs unless he gets hurt.
Not last year. Oh, unless he gets hurt, which
was
he
not
stays
rehabbing
hurt all the time.
Was he not rehabbing from an injury last year like other players?
Exactly. He was rehabbing from another injury.
If it's not a serious injury, he's going to play in the playoffs.
But how often does he have serious injuries? They've been saying his knee was
arthritic
before he tore his ACL.
Mm-hmm. But he still played in the playoffs every time.
2 years ago. I'm just saying, bro. I mean, we'll see. At the end of the day, we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's hard to expect. Even those years when he played great in the playoffs, he was still playing some in the regular season. He was playing more than this in the regular season, and he was playing better than this in the regular season.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, for you to expect him to go from averaging 17 to back to the 30 that he was averaging, I just don't see that.
I'm
even
just
last
I'm
year,
just talking about. I think he's just going to be available. I'm not talking about him going crazy, but I think he's going to be available for the playoffs.
last year too, not last year. I guess that's the year he tore his ACL. He slowed down. You
No,
could see it.
no, he did not. Go
Yeah.
back to the playoffs when they were down 0-2 against Dallas, and then they played against Utah. He was playing the best in the entire NBA in the playoffs. So you tripping with that one? That's my favorite player. You go ahead and look at all those stats right there.
I'm telling you, bro.
He played the best out of everyone who was in the playoffs. Go back to that. If he didn't tear his ACL, they would have beat Utah, and then they would have definitely dusted the washed-ass Phoenix Suns. And then I think if the Suns fraud ass could take the fucking Bucks 6 games with Kawhi and PG in that squad with Ty Lue, they going 7 and beating them. Come on, man. Don't disrespect my boy. I just had to go off of that. But pull up the playoff stats. That boy was going stupid. What? I was like, damn, you looking like Jordan out there. Let me stop. But anyways, I think we just see how, everything kind of pans out this year. If they don't at least get to the conference finals or just build off of what they were 2 years ago, then I agree with Terrence. I think you kind of take a look and be like, well, availability is an issue, health is an issue. We've basically sold the farm to get these guys here, and it's not working out. So maybe we kind of think about blowing it up as well too. But I don't think from a business standpoint it's smart to go into a completely new arena and not have 2 quote-unquote superstars available as well too. Like, just imagine if the Golden State Warriors broke up and they went into that new arena right there. That would be nuts.
But the thing is, are you really gonna have 2 superstars?
Thank you.
They're quote-unquote superstars.
No. I'm not.
available?
I'm not doubting that. Yes, exactly. Are they
Available in 2 years?
Yes. Are they gonna be?
I don't know, man. That's for another day. I'm not quite sure. So we'll kind of see, what happens with that as well too. Steph Curry is debuting today. He's actually playing right now. Obviously, the Warriors are 7th in the West. They're currently 20-20, 6-4 in their last 10 games. Clay's been playing great. Elephant in the room, they're a great home team, but not a good away team at 3-16 record. With Steph Curry coming back, them being in the 7th seed, do you see basically the Warriors kind of taking off from where they were last year, being one of the top tier teams? What are you guys' thoughts on that?
I do. I mean, until they prove me wrong, until they prove me wrong. I think Steph, so long as he's in the playoffs with Draymond Green and Klay Thompson, that they'll find the magic.
Find the magic as well too. What about you?
Yeah, I think honestly, it's a little similar to the Lakers because I feel like Anthony Davis didn't start to turn up until LeBron went out. And I think sometimes that can be a blessing. So, that's what's happened with Klay. I feel like Klay has been able to really find his offensive rhythm, get a bunch of shots up, do whatever while Steph has been out. And now Steph gets to come back, and he already kind of has some flow going.
Mm-hmm.
Poole was not efficient, but he got some shots up, too. I was going to ask you
about Jordan Poole. Like, if Jordan Poole, since Jordan Poole's not going to be a star anymore, do you think, what do you think happens to him? Obviously, he's taking less shots, but do you see him still playing somewhat worth what he's getting paid?
Yeah, I think he's clearly, at least right now, still a third option. And I think Steph's absence proved that because they kind of forced him into the first option, really.
Yeah.
And he was really just taking shots. So I think he's actually in the perfect role coming off the bench where they have him. And he's like 22 or 23 or something like that. So, the contract just kind of makes sense. I think you kind of had to pay that in order to keep someone who potentially can get to that point, but definitely not right now.
Yeah.
And I think it'll just, like he's saying, I think that things are kind of going in a good way. And if they just start winning some road games, they'll be fine because they're amazing at home.
Yeah.
But they've been terrible on the road.
Yeah. I mean, what do you think that's attributed to with them being a bad road team?
I don't even know. I think the chemistry could be a big part of it, and it kind of gets exacerbated when you're on the road. I think the main reason that their record is what it is right now is the Draymond punch, if I'm be honest with you.
You think so?
I think that, in a similar way, we're talking about the Nets. The chemistry was going on in the locker room definitely affects a lot of things on the court. And I think that now you get away from your home base and when you have all that support, and it's just I think some of those things have reared their head. So I don't know. That's just kind of my theory, but it is really wild to see how great they've been at home and how bad they've been on the road.
It's crazy to see how much, because they were like a top 5 defensive team last year. It's kind of crazy to see, like, with Gary Payton Jr. going away and Otto Porter Jr. going away as well too, like how they've dipped so much, especially when they have basically the same core intact. So
role players have always mattered outside of the KD years. Role players have always mattered for them. Like remember when Sean Livingston was getting buckets, Iggy was when he was back then like playing really good defense, holding LeBron to 30-something points a game.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, where do you guys see them ending up in the seedings when it's all said and done if they stay relatively healthy between now and the end of the season?
I say a top 5 seed.
Top 5?
Yeah, I was gonna say top 4 for me.
Do you think them having like kind of like LeBron every year, it don't matter if he number 1 seed or 6th seed, as long as you have him on your team, you are going to win road games and get to the promised land. Do you think that's the same case with the Warriors as well too, in the sense of if they start off as a 6th seed, do you think they can? Obviously, it's going to be tougher to get to where they need to be, the NBA Finals again. But do you think it's going to be a little harder than it is? I guess. Like I feel like they have enough championship DNA. It doesn't matter where they kind of end up at as long as they're healthy. But I'm a little worried, like with them having such a bad road record, how is this going to translate into the playoffs?
I will say, I don't remember. I guess they finished 4th one year. I just kind of feel like bronze teams usually finish very close to the top, though. Like it is.
Well, I guess the last one was when they were I think the 5th seed that year that Philadelphia was going crazy when Ben Simmons and I think it was Ben Simmons' rookie year, either Ben Simmons' rookie year or whatever year they got to the conference finals with
the year
with
after
no
they won the
Kyrie.
ship?
No, with no Kyrie.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That year they finished
Yeah,
as the
4th or
4th
5th
seed.
seed. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I 6th seed, we don't. That's tough. Even like with a LeBron, you don't see him. One, you don't see his team finish that poorly and making the playoffs. But I don't know if it's. We'll have to see how everything stacks up because the West. I think that's one of the reasons why the West record isn't like as crazy as it normally is because there's just like a lot of parity and a lot of talent. So Luka and his team could go off at any point. Jokic finally has a full healthy roster, which is really crazy. I think there's just a lot of threats in the West right now. So I wouldn't just say. I mean, I think of course you have Steph Curry, you have a good chance, but I just think they're going to have a very large hill to climb if they finish as a lower seed.
And it's also different when you're just focusing and locked in on one team over the span of 2 weeks to prepare for as well too. So we'll see what happens, but. I mean, it's still wide open. Like I think the safe answer is to go with the Warriors repeating or at least getting back to the finals. But like the West is so, like you said, up and down, so much parity. I don't know who's gonna come out as well too. Which leads me into my next topic. The Nuggets have been really, really good, and they're the number 1 seed right now. What are your thoughts on Joker and that team, and what do you think their ceiling is?
Their ceiling, I think, is where they're at right now. Like being in 1 seed and potentially making to the finals. I mean,
you think they're that good to get to the finals when they're being defensively challenged?
I think that they can be defensively challenged and still like you can't. I actually just pulled it up because like I knew he played well in the playoffs, but like looking at his stats, it's actually absurd. Like you can't stop Jokic, so like they're gonna score a lot of points, and I think you're gonna have to keep up with them. And that's going to be very, very tough. And like he's saying, there's not a lot of people who can match up with Jokic. Like the Lakers might be good for it with AD, and on the other side, the Sixers. But I'm not thinking of anyone else unless you could think of someone who really is going to match up with him.
Yeah, your biggest chance is trying to get him in foul trouble, and he really doesn't foul. He'd rather give up the points than foul.
Exactly, because he can go get it on the other end. So yeah, I think that they could definitely end up in the finals, and I would like to see that. They're an exciting team. Jamal Murray's playing well. They got Michael Porter Jr. back. Aaron Gordon is having his best season ever.
Yes.
Everything is just kind of like going right for them. So
yeah, like he finally, and this is how small market teams should build their team. You know what I'm saying? Like I love what they're doing. It's crazy. Last year they only went I mean, they got gentlemen swept last year, but if you look at playoffs against the Warriors, I mean, every game was decided by a few possessions. So now that you have MPJ back, now that you have your number 2 option Murray, and then you came to get KCP, Aaron Gordon's playing better, even Bruce Brown, like they're gonna be dangerous.
I think they're proving that all those not all those, but those 2 MVPs right by Jokic by like. Yeah, I was playing that amazing, and I had no help. And now I finally do have help, and we're a really good team. Like, we were only that bad because there was no one else around me.
That's crazy. What do you think?
I'm going to have the unpopular opinion.
I know.
He heard all that. He was like, all right, so.
I know he got help.
Terrence Whaley.
I know he got help, and that's great. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know, man. I look at Denver, and it's always like this one thing that it's like you look at a great team and you just don't take them seriously. I don't know why. Like, I don't know why I feel that way. I guess it's just the years and years of watching, like, or I guess the 4 years since they've been really competitive, just watching them come up short. And it's just like, I got to see it. I got to see y'all break through the glass window. That's it, honestly, for me. And I think it's like when you watch like a team parallel like Utah, like you watch Utah and Donovan Mitchell.
That's different though. Okay. They only had one option scoring for real. And
all right. And at the end of the day,
trash.
And at the end of the day, bro. And at the end of the day, look, if Jamal Murray turned into Bubble Murray, then cool. Then and they go and they win and they go to the finals, then I'll be proven wrong. But I don't care how many games they win. I don't think that they're gonna. I'd almost rather pick the Pelicans, honestly, because like I'd rather watch.
Be a crazy
I'd rather
playoffs.
watch a team that I ain't seen do it, go through it, and see what they got. Like even with Memphis too. Like
I forgot about both those teams. That's why the West is so deep.
Yeah,
I like both of them.
Mean, technically, Denver never did it. I mean, they got to the conference finals in the bubble, but like, what do you mean by do it? Like, get over that.
Just get to the finals. You got the finals, or you got the back-to-back MVP. You got goddamn Jamal Murray. He nice or whatever. Like you got a squad. Like okay, this the year. There ain't no more excuses. This the year, and that's it. And if they don't do it, they're gonna be right back in this seat talking about. Look, man, they're a good team. They look great. They're a regular season team, but they might as well be the goddamn Atlanta Hawks. They won 60 games.
What's crazy? I was hoping you weren't gonna say that because at least they're way more. I can at least feel you on like the overall, but the Hawks were the definition. They had no one who was
right, and they don't have a superstar. They don't. Yeah. They don't. Completely understood.
Right
all I'm saying is, no, I'm talking about the Atlanta Hawks.
Back
the 16-win game.
Yeah.
I know. I'm more so making that analogy of the way they play as a team. Even though they didn't have a superstar, like they played well because the pieces and stuff fit, and they just like they just play well off chemistry, and I like that. But I again like I gotta see it like come through on 7-game series, bro.
Only thing I'm worried about is them defensively. But I've been watching a lot of games this year. I think they're winning by like an average of like 2-3 points. So they're making timely stops when they need to, and like Carl said, they're so efficient offensively, like they can get a good look every single time. But if they do get to the finals, this will be the first time where there's not a top 5, top 10 team defensively getting there as well too. But if it's a team to do it, I got my money on them.
Okay,
but it's gonna be tough. They're gonna have to get the number 1 seed and avoid the 2 and 3 battling each other out in the second round. So
but who's
they could
even gonna like. Now that because I forgot about those other teams like Memphis, the Pelicans. Like I feel like any of these matchups could be dangerous.
Yeah,
I'm not even gonna hold.
Yeah, I'd pick Memphis to beat them.
I picked Denver to beat Memphis. I still think they just play up and down, but they're a great team as well too. I don't know. I mean, like you said, you got Dallas. Luka's the only team that's really been knocking on Luka's door. I mean, it's obviously the Clippers when they're fully healthy, and then the Warriors. But I feel like you can put Luka against any other team, and he's good enough to at least go 7 games with them as well too. But
go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say if the Lakers play him, I'd pick the Lakers
against the Nuggets.
Yep.
I mean, they proven they can beat him in the bubble as well too. But yeah, I guess we're gonna see. Like, this is really gonna be a dog fight in the West. Like, the West has always been kind of up and down with, teams' path to the finals easy, especially Phoenix the year before and then the Warriors this year. The past year. So we're gonna see.
Was that an easy path for them?
This past year.
You think that
I
was
mean,
easy?
Luka was the only option in the conference finals. I didn't expect them to go anywhere. Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. were out. They revamped their team so it was Joker being a one-man punch.
They played the Grizzlies, didn't they?
Grizzlies' Ja played 2 games.
I forgot he got injured.
Is this his anti-Steph agenda? What you talking about? What we talking about? The
No,
Warriors?
I'm saying they had an easy path to the finals.
The Warriors.
The Warriors did, yeah.
I think
And then,
Luka,
and then the year before,
Luka
Phoenix
would
did.
have beat a lot of other teams and made it to the finals. I don't think that was easy.
I'm just saying the team that's the last man standing. I think they just had a tougher path to get there. I mean, an easy path to get there, and then Phoenix did as well too with injuries the year before.
I guess that's the only one. I think that Phoenix for sure. I just don't think they're as comparable. I think Phoenix literally just got there.
Yeah.
But I think the Warriors actually, because they had some close series. You know.
Yeah. I guess so.
I was watching it. I didn't feel the same way I felt about like the Suns. I was like, what are y'all doing here, bro? How did y'all even get here? What's happening? And then got destroyed
If
by
80 didn't
Giannis.
get hurt, they would have lost in the first round. But yeah, the Sun shit was nasty. Watching that shit on TV, bro, nasty. Almost done here. Probably done in like a minute or so. So, just revisiting D. Mitch's 71 points. Who do you think is more likely to surpass him that's currently in the NBA and score at least 72? If you had to pick one person. That's a tough one.
I mean, if we being honest, Jesus. I mean, if Giannis really wanted to do it, he could do it.
He
Like,
had to go
I think about
stupid from Tracy.
I think if I'm like just thinking about like if he just like was just seeing red and just wasn't passing and shit, like Giannis physically I think could do it. And shit,
I got Joel Embiid.
he could do it if what's his name? Okay, yeah, Joe too. If fucking Wilt Chamberlain really scored 100 points, why he can't do it
Who?
without 3-pointers?
Oh, you talking about Giannis?
Yeah,
I mean, the level of talent
There's more
was
possessions.
Crazy.
but there's more
different.
possessions though.
Yeah.
Why he can't do it?
I just feel like the talent pool was.
Wilt was playing
And, like,
against
20 free throws.
Smaller people. That's really the biggest thing is the size.
But who's guarding Giannis? When he be scoring, he be scoring.
That's true. So you got Giannis.
Yeah.
I got Embiid. Who you got?
I don't know, bro. 71 is a lot. And I know it's like this season it's not really a lot, but it's a lot.
I'm not saying during this season, like who's currently in the NBA. Who do you think, if you had to bet your money on it, who do you think would be that person?
Honestly, I'm trying to think like who's. I could see Luka doing it.
Ooh, I don't know why I didn't even think about it. He just dropped 60 the other
Yeah,
day.
60, 20, and 10, which is nuts.
Yeah, he could do it.
So
But
by Luka.
I could see Luka doing it for sure.
Yeah. All right, that's tough. So last topic. So basically, it's kind of like a hot seat question. It's called Real Rapper Cap. Something new I just thought about as well too. So basically, I ask a question and let me know if it's Real Rapper Cap and then why within like 10 seconds. So first question: Real Rapper Cap. Ben Simmons will make a 3-pointer this year.
Cap.
Why?
Cause bro, he's scared to shoot. I think we talked about earlier, like he's a star in his role now. He's playing very well in his role, but like that role has not forced him to try and score the ball. And I think that everything that plagued him in Philly is still there. He's just scared.
Cap, he don't look at the rim.
Yeah, I have to say Cap as well too. I still think when he plays, you can tell he's still a little bit timid as well too. And the fact that you have KD and Kyrie there and other shooters, you're not required to do it. So I'm gonna go with Cap as well. Real Rapper Cap, 80 will play 60 games. Go.
Cap. I think he already about to be under that. Like, bro, he injured his. I saw this injury and I was like, this is something that would only happen to you. Mid-air, his foot just kind of touched somebody and he's out a month, 2 months. That's crazy.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna take Cap too. He just continues playing low tops, and I don't think he takes his life seriously. For real. I hate to say that too, but you gotta cut that out. You're a grown man.
I'm gonna say real rap with
You
the
have
most
to.
convincing face because we have that bet. So our
You have
bet, to
to.
let you know about the bet, if 80 plays a minimum of 60 games, he has to buy me retail price sneakers, vice versa.
Gotcha.
So right now he can only miss 9 more games. So hopefully he come back, please, because I ain't trying to buy this motherfucker some shoes. So we gonna see what's good with that.
Yeah, man.
Going on to the next one, real rapper Cap. Russell Westbrook will get traded by deadline to make LeBron happy.
Cap, I think he gonna win 6th Man of the Year.
Oof.
Yeah, I think that's Cap too. I think that he probably going. I think he's really gunning for that too. And I also, to make LeBron happy, I think LeBron is honestly, at least that part of the team, I don't think is what's really causing him to be as mad anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like I said, with the West wide open, and they're only a couple games out of first place and just even in the top 6. Yeah, I don't see them trading Westbrook anymore. If you asked me a couple of days ago, I'd have probably said real rap, but I'm gonna have to go with Cap as well.
And I think what would really make LeBron happy is being proven right. Like, hey, we're winning with Westbrook when all y'all said we couldn't do it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I like that. And then last question. Real rapper Cap, Jason Tatum finally gets his first All-Star start.
I guess real rap. I mean, the media loves him, so I don't see why not.
You?
I would go Cap just because look, honestly, it's just really looking at, like, it's just deep. It's really tough. And looking at, like, the All-Star starters thing, like, the media loves him, but also they love Joel Embiid. And Giannis and KD are not, he's not moving past them. So it's really him and Joel Embiid.
Yeah.
And I think the fact that, like, even though Embiid has a co-star in Harden, it's not the same as, like, Brown and Tatum. And I think just that Embiid doing more of it by himself kind of puts him a little bit more, at least in this All-Star voting stuff.
I'm going to go with real rap just because with KD's MCL sprain, I think the Nets are going to be overly cautious. So I think he's going to miss
But
it
that's not
again.
fair because that's going to be him replacing him as a starter. Because KD's still going to be a starter even if he's injured.
Yeah.
That's going to be a replacement starter.
Okay, well, if we're going to say that, the players and the media votes are weighted more the next time around. So with them kind of really pushing for Jason Tatum, I think he's going to get it off of that, and Joel Embiid's actually going to come off the bench.
Bro.
So that was episode 124 of the Seezus Show. Any closing remarks, guys?
Thanks for having me. This was dope. This was fun.
What about you?
You
You always have these wild words.
Nah,
you know,
man,
I'm waiting.
Nothing crazy. I just want to shout out Peyton, you know what I'm saying? Always, coming through with the behind the scenes. Shout out executive producer. Yeah, shout out my mom, you know what I mean? She called me today. It was good to, hear from you, Mom. Thank you. And then, shout out my friends, C's, and Carl for coming through tonight. It's always good, to talk about sports with the homies. And, hey, shout out Brittany Griner being home free, you know what I'm saying? That's always a good look, too.
Yeah, no, I have to agree. Shout out to Peyton. Appreciate you coming here, making this insane day go right as far as logistics go with the setup and whatnot as well too. Truly a blessing as well too. And I hope you guys had a good time on the show. Everybody continue to express gratitude and just go out and go get it. You know what I'm saying? Take no days off. So ladies and gentlemen, that was episode 124 of the Seezus Show. Make sure to subscribe on all forms of social media at the Seezus Show, at Sirseezus, at Carl Conyers, and at Terrence Whaley _.
Yeah.
We out.